I took some time and I did some welding and grinding. I cut the old motor mount plate off, and I realigned the motor because I have a pillow block in there now. I didn't have the pillow block originally when I welded this motor mount in place, and it wasn't lined up very good, and it was chewing up the rubber spider in there. This guy that goes in between the jaws. And anyway, hopefully we don't have an issue with that. I mean, it's a wearable item, so I will have to change it, but the motor's pretty easy just to unbolt those 4 bolts and pull it out and put a new coupler on. I also put a spacer, this big nut on the shaft, and a rubber spacer in there to keep this shaft from walking back on the motor, because that would happen too. So hopefully there's nowhere for that to go. I got a little rubber thing in there to dampen the vibrations, so hopefully it's good to go and it'll run nice and quiet now and not have an issue of spitting out the little spider gears. So that's all good. I got to put the motor controller back in right now. This is how I have it mounted on this fiberglass plate with the radiator hold down plate holding it to the radiator bolster with just those 2 screws for now. It works fine, it's out of the way. And then originally I was just going to air cool the motor, and then I got a tank pump to run coolant through the motor controller ports. As you can see, they're drilled all the way through, so you can tap those and run coolant water through them. Although I haven't had a need to yet, I haven't pulled it real hard, but it's I have that option. I just need to figure out how to mount the tank, which went somewhere over here. This is an eBay deal, somebody that buys and sells eBay stuff, and I just happened to find it. It's a, sorry for the crappy video, it's a cooling pump for a computer. It's a pump on the bottom. You got a port there you can tap out, and the port to recirculate back in. So I can run that for coolant if I can find a place to mount it, and then also mount a little coolant radiator somewhere. If I work this hard and it gets hot, then definitely I'll have to put that in. But right now, that's the last step after everything's refined and everything's running good, and I really start to put a load on the thing. Then I'll water cool the motor controller. If I was doing it again, I'd probably get a liquid cooled motor, but I was kind of doing it simple, and right now I don't need this. This is kind of a bigger motor controller than it needs to be, but it runs cooler, so that's why I haven't plumbed into the coolant ports there. Just welded this up. It went up a little bit, and I think it went back a little. I can't remember. Anyway, it's in there now, and this rotates pretty good without making noise, so that's good. The shaft is still bent, so as you can see, that pilot bearing, or the pillow bearing, it walks a little bit, but I greased it, so hopefully that was okay. I tried my best to straighten that shaft back out, but it's pretty lined up now. We'll see how long that lasts, and then I'm just going to throw it together. I got LED lights for the headlights I stuck in there, just little stick-on LEDs. It's enough to see at night. The battery's there. There's the battery holder tray. Those are the radiator mounts. And that bolt here, and then the side mounts go to here, and that sits above the engine. However, the motor. I raised that motor up, so I might have to cut this top plate out to make that fit again, but we'll see. I was going to bolt that controller in and then see what the battery mount looks like. So that's where I'm at here now. Putting it back together, make sure everything fits properly now that I readjusted the motor. That's where I'm at. The battery mount installed. I have the original radiator hood supports. Welded this angle iron to them to hold the battery, and I bolt the hood in the factory place. I have my big cutout switch for the battery. I got that off of Summit Racing. It was, I think, rated for 60 some odd volts. I don't remember exactly what it was rated for, but it handles the 80 volt from the battery pretty well. It doesn't get hot. It had a 500 amp capacity rating, so it does okay. The only thing I don't know if the arc, it works fine. And then I run everything off of that for my step down voltage, from 80 down to 12 volts. But 80 is the full charge of the battery. It goes down to 75 some odd volts when it's discharged. It only went down to 50% with the battery, and it lasted quite a long time. So now I can actually test it now that the motor should run smooth and not cause an issue, and I don't have to worry about over speeding that and vibrating the shit out of the motor to where the bearings go out. So hopefully that all works out okay. And now I just got to wire everything back up, motor controller, motor, throw the battery on there, charge it up, put the hood on, and we'll see if it runs good. And then I got to get the lights wired up for the headlights. I got a switch there, and I need to make a switch holder, a switch plate that I can strap to the thing so I can do light switches in the on-off switch for the motor controller. And maybe if I do something like the coolant pump, wherever that would live, I'd have a switch for that, because I don't have to run it all the time, only when it's getting hot. So, and the battery charger lives there pretty good. It's a nice spot out of the way. I might have to cut a hole in the tank to get that coolant reservoir to fit somewhere in the bottom of the gas tank. I don't want to do that, but there's real estate up there that I haven't tapped into. There's no good way to put that radiator standing up anywhere because the battery sits so low to fit under the hood. This isn't quite wide enough here to get a thing in there, and I don't want stuff flying and cracking my coolant reservoir. So it could live under the seat. That'd be a good spot. You can watch it and tap it off, although I have to run hoses all the way to there and back, but that's not the end of the world. I mean, I can mount it to the toolbox and it will be okay there, and then I could just feel and see if it's getting hot to the touch, and then I know not to work it that hard. So we'll see. That's probably where it's going to live, under the seat for that coolant reservoir. We'll see if it fits there. And then it's a safe spot where it's not going to get damaged. Get these cobwebs out of the way. See if it fits. It would fit there okay. The seat doesn't bounce, it's seized up, but if the seat bounced, I would have an issue with the top inlet getting smashed. But that's a good spot for it. I could always raise the seat. That might be where that thing lives. So that's where that could live. It's way out away from everything, but the more lines and the more coolant you have in the system, the cooler that will keep things, as it gets a chance to cool down all the way to the reservoir and then back to the radiator core and then to the motor controller. So that would cool everything really well. But I'd have to run hoses all the way there. Right now I'm just going to wire everything up, throw it together, charge the battery, and see if that worked out okay. I might wire up the headlights while the battery's charging. So that's where we're at. That's what I'm doing with my time today. Got my wires hooked and routed. This is where I mount the battery. I got this structural fiberglass board in there. That goes there, and that kind of keeps anything from, it protects the bottom of the battery in my opinion, but it works pretty good. And then I set the battery down. There's a piece of wood I put to shim the battery in place, and I got a strap that I strap it down with, and that's how I hold the battery down for now. So I'll get that in place, show you what it looks like. It's strapped down. I got one wire on the negative for auxiliary, one wire for the charger, one wire for the charger on the positive. This goes to my battery cutout switch. This goes to the motor controller, the main wires, and then the switch on off battery cutoff. The auxiliary step down transformer runs off the open side of the switch, and that bottom wire is live. So that's how it goes. I guess we can see it's in neutral. See if we can blow this up and make sure my wiring's good. No sparks. Key switch on. We're in neutral. Foot throttle. Let's watch the thing spin. Anytime now. That's pretty smooth. We'll see how it runs. The battery charger and time this so it's 1:30 now. We'll see how long it takes to go from 50 to 100. Anyway, I'm just going to plug it in and put the phone down so I don't electrocute myself. Put it down now. Okay. Upside down. Where's the flashy light? Tells me what's going on. Flashing. Red light. Deep charge. Anyway, so it's charging. I'll pull up my app and see where this is at. I think it's at 50%. It might be 53%, but it's pretty close to 50. So I got the hood on. It goes on the same way. Except this one, the tab broke, so I have another tab bolted to there, just an aluminum strip holding that side in. This side's got the factory tab. This front grill piece, I just have 4 bolts, 2 on each side. I bolt to there, and that just holds that in, and it just hangs down the front. I got the wiring situated. I haven't turned it on yet. We're charging the battery. It's 240 and we're at 71% charge on the battery. The voltage, I cobbled this together. I'll pretty it up sometime if I get the time. I got a 12 volt carport charger, and I got my switch panel. I got the top one is the on off and the bottom one's lights. I got a second or third hole there reserved for another switch. So that's that right now, and should be good to go. I'm going to throw the front cover on and let it charge up, and then we'll see if the lights work, if that thing works, if the charger port works, or if we blow up something. So I'm always sketchy about my wiring. It's always a nervous thing if I fuck something up, but I think we're good to go. So that's it. I think it's gonna be fun. We can do some testing here soon. Well, it's 3:15-ish. I'm at 80% charge. I got an appointment to deliver hay, so I'm gonna call that charge good enough and get back over to deliver hay, and then hopefully we can top this battery off this weekend and do some fun testing if I get the time. If not, I don't know. Let's see if the headlights work and see if we have any smoke coming out of anything. I'm gonna unplug that. Let's see, battery on. Nothing is on fire yet. Batteries, that's a indicator. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. Headlights. They're a little dim, but it is shining right on us. Well, it's okay. I was going to close the door and see what they look like. Come right back. Alright, I got the door closed. Let's see what these headlights will do. I know they're not really bright, but they're headlights. So it's enough to see at night, I imagine, if you needed to, but it could be worse. I didn't want really super bright ones because I didn't plan on driving it at night. But they're there if I need it. And then my charging port for a phone is right there, or the tablet. So let's get this thing opened up and the tablet on to the motor controller See what kind of RPMs. I got it limited right now. I don't know what the RPMs I've limited the motor at, but I like it because I can just flat foot the throttle and it's a little faster than a normal Cub. So we'll see. Well, apparently I need to get my tablet mounted vertically because the app, anyway, it is good enough. Let's see rotor speed as we drive out of here. It's spinning backwards with the negative. Rotor speed measured. So that's third gear. Let me lock up the barn and we'll drive over. Alright, so I need to fix my tablet mount so I can mount this thing vertically. I use a smaller tablet, but that's the rotor speed measured. I have it limited at 2,000 just to mimic the Cub. It's a little faster than the original Cub. I think the Cub runs up to like 1800. I can't remember the Cub motor, the Cub engine. This motor can rev way higher than that. I got limited there because I can flat foot the pedal, and it's cruise control for me, and it's easier than manipulating the throttle on the go when you're hitting bumps and trying not to go stupid fast. I volunteered this tractor to do some setup work at a tree tour at Oak Ridge Cemetery this fall, so I don't want to blow it up. I want to make sure it's all working right. After that, then we can do stupid stuff like see how fast it'll go, although I don't want to pull kin miles and have the transmission lock up doing 30 miles an hour, and that would be a fun ride to the end. Anyway, let's see what the rotor speed measures on this thing. I haven't ran it with that tablet on, so we're in third gear. It's really where I run everything at most of the time, in third gear on this thing. It's a lot quieter now that I fixed that alignment issue. I'm just going to set up on the rotor speed. Sorry, it's really shaky. I don't know how to fix that, but here we go. It hovers right around 2,000 with the foot down, so that's pretty good. I like it this way. It's not overworking anything. We're not overworking the transmission. And it pulls just like a regular Cub, and it's not too bad. So that's what we're doing. That's where I'm going to leave it until this fall, and then we can really crank it up. Anyway, I gotta go deliver hay.